Hi everyone, in this video, we will be talking about a fascinating artwork called Black Untitled, created in 1948 by Willem de Kooning, a major figure in 20th century art and one of the most influential abstract artists in the world. Willem de Kooning was born in Rotterdam, in the Netherlands, in 1904. He trained as a traditional commercial artist, but in 1926, he immigrated to the United States as a stowaway. Over the years, he became deeply involved in the American art scene, especially in New York, which was quickly becoming a new cultural capital.
De Kooning became one of the central figures of abstract expressionism, a groundbreaking art movement that emerged in New York during the 1940s, just after World War II. This movement marked a dramatic shift in the art world. For the first time, the global spotlight moved away from Paris and toward New York, making the United States a leader in modern art. But
abstract expressionism wasn't just about style, it was deeply emotional and psychological. After the trauma of the war, many artists were grappling with existential questions, political instability, and a sense of personal turmoil. Instead of representing the outside world, they turned inward, using the abstract forms, intense color, and dynamic brushstrokes to explore the human condition.
artists like Jackson Pollock, Mark Rothko, and of course, Willem de Kooning were pioneers of this movement. Each had their own voice and approach. De Kooning's work was especially unique because, even when he worked abstractly, he often kept trace of the human form, especially the female figure hidden within the paint.
But in Black Untitled, painted in 1948, de Kooning went fully abstract. There are no clear figures, no readable space, just raw emotion expressed through paint.
So, let's take a closer look at Black Untitled. This artwork is made using oil and enamel paint on paper, which was then mounted on wood. The combination of this material gives the surface a texture that it feels almost like it was built through physical struggle.
At first glance, the painting is dominated by black with harsh accents of white and grey. The brush strokes are vigorous, scratchy, and adjourned. You can tell that de Kooning worked quickly and emotionally. The paint is slashed and shimmered across the surface with little regard for neatness or symmetry.
This chaotic energy is typical of something called gestural abstraction, where the movement of the artist's hand, the gesture, becomes the main subject of the painting. The artwork doesn't depict a scene or object, but rather record the act of painting itself. The brushstrokes are expressive, almost like a kind of body language, showing de Kooning's inner state of mind.
There's actually a kind of hidden structure in the way the black forms move across the surface. There's tension, rhythm, even harmony in the chaos, like a visual jazz solo that seems improvised but follows its own logic.
So, what does Black Untitled actually mean? One way to approach this is through the lens of expressionism. De Kooning wasn't trying to show you landscape or a person. He was trying to show you a feeling. The darkness of the palette, the jagged lines, and the erratic energy might suggest anxiety, inner conflict, or emotional unrest. This emotion could reflect de Kooning's own mental state at the time. In the late 1940s, he was struggling financially and he was still developing his identity as an artist in a highly competitive environment.
We can also interpret their work through psychoanalytic theory, which looks at art as an expression of the subconscious, inspired by Freud and Jung. This theory suggests that artwork like this reveal hidden desires, fears, or memories, things that the artist may not even be fully aware of. In Black Untitled, we might sense forms that look like they are emerging or dissolving, almost like repressed memories trying to come to the surface, but never quite taking shape. The black paint acts almost like a veil or mask, suggesting that something is being covered up or that identity is fragmented. The tension between clarity and obscurity mirrors the tension between the conscious and unconscious mind.
This interpretation is reinforced by D. Kooning's own interest in ambiguity. He once said, "Content is a glimpse." In other words, he didn't believe in clear answer, only fleeting feelings, impression, and emotional truth.
Black Entitled is also significant because of its place in art history. This painting was made in 1948, the same year Jackson Pollock created his famous drip paintings. Both artists were helping to define what modern American painting could be. Before this period, the art world had largely been centered in Europe, but after the war, artists like de Kooning helped put New York at the center of global art. De Kooning approach was hugely influential. He showed that abstraction didn't have to be purely formal. It could be deeply emotional, personal, and even violent. His work opened the door for later movements like New Expressionism and action painting, and influenced artists from French Klein to C. Tomley.
To sum up, Black Untitled may not give us an obvious story or recognizable subject, but it offers something just as powerful, a direct experience of raw emotion. The painting challenged us to move beyond what we see and to engage with what we feel. D. Kooning's aggressive mark and dark colors create a sense of unrest, a visual manifestation of psychological tension. By letting go of realism, he invites us into a deeper, more intuitive form of understanding.
In that way, Black Entitled becomes more than just paint on paper. It becomes a record of thought, feeling, and struggle. It shows us that art doesn't have to explain itself to be meaningful. Sometimes, the power of art lies in its honesty, its urgency, and its refusal to be pinned down. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this helped you see Black Entitled in a new light.